I guess I didn't know what to expect when, and in fact, we just received our insights in the last, 45 minutes. So, we're still taking it all in, but it's really not much of a surprise for me what we received, but it's really about what's going on today in a larger fashion of understanding. So, words to wanted to use, whatever.
Sounded good to me.
Excuse me. Okay, first of all, though, I want to discuss some of the things that you wanted to bring forward for today's podcast, and that is the word spiritual entrapment.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this for a while because I noticed a pattern taking place. And so, when we experience patterns, it means, not only observe what you're seeing as the pattern, but see how it applies to yourself. Because that's what we're doing. We're learning about ourselves. So this term spiritual entrapment, I looked it up to get what the definition of entrapment was, and this is what I found: the state of being caught, trapped, tricking someone into committing a crime in order to secure their prosecution. So it's like getting somebody into a position that they wouldn't necessarily have chosen for themselves. They're kind of being coerced into it, trapped, herded into a situation. Like this can happen with someone trying to get your words on something, but they're not really your words because you hadn't really had time to put thought into what they were asking, and they were doing it with an intention uh, to see if they could find something to poke fault at. I'm pretty sure that you understand what I'm trying to get across here. Getting you to say something that you would not have otherwise said. I don't know what else to say about that. Can you come up with something?
When you talk about spiritual entrapment, that goes into religion. It goes into spirituality that is outside of religion. And I'm going to use the word pigeonhole.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so, some of the religions, they try to, and it's up to you to accept or not accept, but to way to think, to way that this is the way of creation. This is the way of God. This is how you're supposed to act. This is what you have to do in order for that to happen. These are, the guidelines that you need to follow. And that goes again religion, but it also goes into some of the spiritual movements, and some of the spiritual movements have been called a cult, and a lot of us laugh at that. Yet, in some instances, it becomes such because you're guided by them to put you into one way of believing. And you may not feel that, and you may feel like backed in the corner, so to speak, but you want to, whoever you're talking to, sometimes you want them to feel good of what they're talking about, and so you agree without speaking up. And then later you're like, well, wait a minute, why did I do that?
Yeah. So it's all in learning how to be true to yourself. To when you hear something right off the bat, to be able to respond with, well, I don't know, I don't have an opinion about that because I haven't had time to think it over. Don't know what my thoughts really are. I hadn't had time to investigate it. So it's causing us to take more responsibility for what comes out of our own mouths, our own actions, instead of being caught in a situation that we really did not intend to be in. It's not us. It's not the real us.
So in other words, what I'm seeing what you're trying to say is speak up and just say, okay, hold on, because we are giving new concepts, and that doesn't mean you have to believe everything that we're talking about, because our insights, it's to help. I feel it's to help us evolve. Yet each of us have our own path in whatever we want to experience in what we call this reality. So if you find yourself in that situation that you feel uncomfortable, you can listen to a person. That doesn't mean that you hear them. And then you thought, well, that is something to consider. And then you realize within yourself, as memories are resurfacing from other realities in our own life, other realities of ourselves, and then things start making sense. And then you may have an aha moment, or you're going to say that's a bunch of bullshit. So, it can go both ways. And but just be aware that you cannot, well, that you do not have to be pigeonholed into accepting their thoughts.
Yeah, and there are some people who they have their own thing all figured out. They know what their thoughts are on something, and they are looking for a way to make themselves feel bigger and someone else feel lesser than them. And that just boils down to insecurities. So in this, we're learning how to be more secure in ourselves, to learn what we are all about truly, honestly, instead of going along with anything, being true to what we know is right within us. So we're learning how to do that, and maybe getting tripped up a little bit along the way, and learning a lot about ourselves and what not to do.
Well, yeah, it's really, I think what we're saying is that we go so much into the ego that, no, when I say we, it's trying to, I'm using the word pigeonhole again, but get somebody to think along the way, same lines that you think. And well, I have to admit, I'd love to share what we're doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. I feel it's something that I signed up in this lifetime to do, and I'm doing it.
Yeah, and we were told point blank by higher vibrational beings to speak our truths, because that's what really needed at this time,
Yeah.
to help, because that's what's in our hearts, is to help.
We're starting to learn more, and I'm anxious to share our insights, because it goes into that. We will in a few minutes here. I was going to say, some of the words that we use. And one thing that was pointed out, I'm just going to say it. I will say, does that make sense? In other words, am I explaining it where it's understandable? That's how I think. However, that can be taken, and you said it. Do you remember how you said that?
Yeah, it can be taken loosely as meaning, well, I think that maybe you're not able to understand what I'm saying, so because you're not as learned as I am, and so help me to help you to understand. So it can have a very condescending kind of feel to it. When I know Bev does not mean that whatsoever, but to somebody who doesn't know her, if that comes out, well, anybody were to say that, it can come across as, well, you're just too stupid to get it. So
that never even dawned on me.
I know.
I'm glad that was pointed out, because it's like, oh yeah, you're right. So I mean, it made me slip and say that because I'll start explaining something and thinking, "Gosh, am I explaining it where I want it to come out the way I'm trying to share with you all?" It, so if I say it, I may laugh a little bit, but it's like, oh, darn it. And the other word that we talked about today is when people use the word right, and so they're talking to you and they'll say right, and then you may nod your head right, and then
Well, you're nodding your head because you're hearing what they're saying, but you really might do better to go
no.
because you don't agree with what they're saying. I hear you, but I don't agree.
So you have every right to at least I feel this. You want to give a person, let them talk and let them explain themselves, and but that doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, right? See, so how that can be used. So you have every right to speak up and or ask, well, can you explain this a little bit more, or this is what I think you're saying, this is and then you may say, no, that's really not quite right. And that actually happened in one of our recent podcasts, as we were talking earlier today about us. I was trying to re-explain something that you had said or to make a point of it. And then later you said, that's not really what I said.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was getting across at all. But that's okay.
Yeah.
We each hear things through individual ears, and you might be thinking along a certain path at the time that somebody's saying something, and you go down that path because that's where your thoughts were, applying what was being said to what your path was. When that kind of took the words and skewed them a little bit. So it made use of what was being said, but in a odd twist.
Well, the other thing, and it's really nice to have podcasts because um, I'll listen to a podcast usually when I'm doing something else. They call it multitasking. And I find out that I thought I heard something, and I'll hit the back button, and then I'll hear it again. I thought, oh crap, I missed the whole thing. That's not at all what they said. And so I'll go back and listen intently if it's something that I feel that would be important for me to understand.
And I was just thinking while you were talking there about how we've kind of allowed ourselves to be a bit fractured in our focus.
Hmm.
So by multitasking, because there's so many things to be done these days. When I'm questioning whether that's really such a good thing.
Yeah.
If we're going to listen to something, then maybe we should listen to something, and that focus on that.
Yeah.
I know I can't because I'll get pulled into my art and all that kind of stuff, and I can just focus way over there, and just like you said, you miss the whole thing. When if I would have saved myself more time if I had just focused on that one thing, and that's listening. So that's just my 2
And
cents.
focusing, I'm going to share this because I realized it yesterday. I decided to take line dancing. Okay, I'm not much of a dancer, so I thought, oh, this might be fun. So I'm at what they call ultra beginners. So beginners. So it's like, okay, so it's will I ever use it outside of being in class? Maybe not, but it's still
Fun.
it can be fun. And then I'm sort of frustrating at times because my feet don't always follow what I think they should be going. But I found myself yesterday, and I'm to a part where I knew quite well, and then I let my mind wander, and then I realized, well, I probably said, "Oh shit," that's what I probably said. I thought I lost my focus. What do I do next? And so I realized I can't. If I want to learn a dance, I can't let my mind wander if I want to learn it.
But there, you know, there's that focus thing again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe we should put some thought into what we're doing as we live our lives, because we're getting unfocused. You know?
We go all over the place.
Yeah.
Because we
yeah,
are multidimensional beings,
Yeah.
and we do tend to travel. Well, at least I do.
Mhm.
Travel quite a bit in my consciousness. So, um,
Explain what you mean if somebody doesn't quite know what you're talking about with traveling. What do you mean when you say
Okay.
you're traveling?
okay, in my consciousness, I can go to other parts of myself or other planets or whatever it may be. I call it projected consciousness. And for instance, I'm going to say this: going to the moon and seeing a building there, and being in that building and seeing a training room look very much like it is on Earth. And so, I can go there and take a look at what's going on if I decide I want to go there. I've projected my consciousness to places that I decided I didn't want to be at, because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And beings can tell, each of us have our own energy frequency.
Yeah.
And so you can be detected.
Yeah, it's a special signature, unique signature.
Exactly. And so, a lot of times I said, I'm getting out of here. And so I'm out. And so if I feel like I'm in danger, you can be followed. And so, yeah, you move quickly and move yourself away. So we all have that ability. Some of us use it. Some of us use it and don't know we're using it. Yet we're going to remember that that's who we are.
Yep.
Did I explain it easy enough?
I thought you did a good job.
All right.
Kudos.
I'm not going to say that.
That other term.
The other term. All right. What else would you like to cover? We talked about manipulation. So
Yeah, that goes hand in hand, I think, with spiritual entrapment. Yeah, because it is a type of manipulation.
I feel that's what we're moving out of now, and I think it goes along with what both of us received in our insights for today.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go right into our insights now?
Sure.
And then if we can talk about it afterwards. So, I don't know if it matters who's first or second. So,
You make the call.
all right. Well, okay. I'm going to start off because this is what I heard when I shortly went into meditation like an hour ago. And I got realizing what is real. I thought it was kind of a fun way of saying it. Realizing what is real. Okay. And then I heard time clock, countdown to authenticity. So that really kind of tells us what we're talking about today, being authentic. All right.
Yeah.
All right, here's the rest of it. There continues to be many movements on your planet, as well as a lot of movement inside planet Earth. The undoing of the strings that have attached themselves to the human psyche are coming undone. As this is happening, there is and continues to be a learning curve in the understanding of our existence on this planet.
Excuse me.
Soon, forces will show themselves as the purveyors of truth. Systematically, truths are being unveiled one by one, leaving a trail to reality, never again to be undone. The world is getting louder and louder before the great pause. It's something new to me, the great pause. So, not sure what that means yet. All will be shown. It is up to each person to look within themselves to understand the significance they hold. And every one of you are extremely significant. The time is now. Gloves are off in the takedown of all dark forces. Either get on the side of benevolence or leave. So that was strong. All is being shown. I got that twice. Just a moment here. This is the part you have not heard. We recommend you be on the side of beauty, the beauty of you. It sounds like drastic moves are being made, and they are. Stay grounded to help hold yourselves together. Remember, you each are on earth for a reason. Gather within your brilliance and shine the light. All dark corners are being exposed. Let that happen. Truly, you can look at this as a new beginning, yet it is the unfolding of love in its purest form.
All right.
Yeah. So,
When you said the great pause,
yes.
all of a sudden it kind of flashed in my mind about how energy works when you have momentum going in one direction.
Mm-hmm.
If that needs to shift, there has to be a pause so that you can look at it like gears.
Mm-hmm.
It has to stop, has to pause before the gears can be changed, shifted to shift into another direction.
Yeah.
So it's the pause makes great sense to me.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. It does the way that you explained it. So, thank you. Okay. Please share.
Okay, like so many other times, our insights fit together. Get my head over here in the right direction. Manifestations of harmony are fast approaching. Stay grounded and stand your ground as this new day appears. The vestiges of the old are fading fast as the energetic refashionings are materializing. Truly, it is time to let go and move forward. Let go of what holds you back, namely, let go of your old self who is burdened by narratives you took on as your own. You know the words spoken in false tones, the words that said, you can't, you won't, you don't. These are empty words that take up valuable real estate. They are being replaced with words of truth. You can, you are, you do. This world in which your physical body resides will look much more appealing when you open your eyes of truth. It is beautiful. It will remain beautiful through the eyes of truth. Let your true heart lead the way, steering you away from the world of lies, the one fading away into a world remembered but released. So there.
I can. I will. I do. Yeah. How many times have we been told, especially as children,
You can't do that. You won't do that. You're too little to do that.
Boy, how many times we put down our little ones
Mm-hmm.
and don't realize it. But I have to tell you, though, with my grandkids, I found myself doing things like that. And then I'm thinking, wow, look what I just did. And do I apologize to them? No, only because I don't think they quite understand, but they may. It's like, no, you are a great one. You can do this.
Yeah, I think little kids understand a whole lot more than what we give them credit for, because I remember uh, thoughts that I had when I was little, um, and they weren't thoughts of a little kid. They were thoughts of somebody who understand what the game was, and what was being inflicted upon people, and how people can do so much better. Um, I think kids really have it going on if we would give them a chance.
It's we had talked about this is coming in or thinking about this now because we even talked about the educational system around the world's changing, and I do think that's going to be a huge change, and to allow children to progress in whatever direction they want to go, as in whatever they like to do.
More like the Montessori kind of way of doing things. Don't they have programs where that's how they're taught? The kids progress at their own rate and choose different directions. If I know what the Montessori thing is all about.
Good. I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
But I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah. I think the opportunities for education are changing. And some people are afraid of the new technologies. We talked about AI, yet with using certain AI for us to understand and do things in a deeper sense, giving us the opportunity to do what we love. I wonder if those words came across okay. I'm not going to eschew, it's the right word, AI, because I think it's going to be utilized by us in a more organic way. Now that could be words that we use that make it sound good, that it's organic. However, I think it's a way that we can use it to assist ourselves in this physicality, to start understanding in a deeper sense of reality.
Yeah, and I do want to make it clear what I was speaking about a couple of podcasts ago. I was referring to beings, AI beings. That's already functioning AI beings that I was making a statement of. We're still learning ourselves and progressing ourselves in and it would kind of set us back to call upon AI beings who are out in space at the ready, to call on them to come do it for us, help us get this figured out, which a little bit of that might go a long way, it might really help. But we need to be cautious when we do something like that, call on other beings, because we've got, even though it looks pretty tough right now, we've got a good thing going on if we'll take this ball and run with it, because we are learning what it means to be a human being. This plateau that we have reached is a plateau, one to be stepped beyond. And that's what we're on the precipice of, making a grand leap. If we will put the effort into it instead of having something else do it for us. That was what I was talking about. But AI
Okay, thank you.
can be of great benefit
Mhm.
to us used in the right way.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I'm glad you clarified that. Might be what you were talking about today, but you couldn't remember of what I said, and it was maybe a little bit different than what you meant.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, where was I going to go? Oh, so many people are afraid of AI, and I recommend to not go there.
The fear,
The
going
fear,
into the fear.
yeah, because then that doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, caution and fear are two entirely different things.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't see it happening, but we still are going to have technologies and be able to do things with them because our physical self is technologically advanced. And today I got the word brilliance, and you got some wonderful words about I will, I do, I can, and no more of that put down stuff. And so how come we kind of started this whole podcast about manipulation and spiritual entrapment.
Yeah.
And so no longer will we be entrapped, and each of us to realize what that is for ourselves.
Yeah, because we're heading toward Homo luminous, a luminous being, mankind who has progressed to being luminous, holding that immense amount of light, that amount of light that we already have in us, but holding it to a greater extent until it is quite obvious that we are beings of light.
Yeah. So if you're experiencing some things that you believed in or bought into in your lifetime or even other lifetimes, and it's like, this doesn't serve me at all anymore. It goes to the poor me or the whatever it may be. And it's like, yeah, a lot of that stuff's in our face. And it's like, okay, how long do you want to hold on to this?
Yeah, it gets so tiresome to even hear it anymore. Because we're so ready for something more.
To step out into blisshood. Well, if that's a word or not, into bliss. And yeah, I understand a lot of people have gone through a lot of hellish things. I do understand that. And there is help out there for them to move beyond. But give yourself kudos for recognizing it in the first place and then to start moving beyond the old programming.
And kudos for lasting this long, because it has been really, really, like Bev said, hellish for some individuals and animals. Stuff you don't want to think about, but is going on. Better days are coming.
So hang in there, and this as I received a new beginning. Yet it's really, you can look at it as a new beginning because every moment's a new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it's unfolding the love in its purest form. And another word that we can use for love is that God that we each are a part of.
In Hebrew, if I'm not mistaken, the word for godly love is agave. I'm pretty sure that's right. There's a lot of different types of love, self-love and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That godly love, I'm pretty positive it's agave.
It's all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're in that bliss moment, you definitely feel it, or you can feel that energy and it really warms your heart.
Yeah. It warms everything. Yeah. And it changes your sight, changes changes. That love is the most powerful force there is, period. It has no equal opposite. So, you don't have this straight line. You have love over here and fear over here, or love over here and hate over here. Doesn't work that way. Love is, and fear and hate. Okay? So, two entirely different concepts. There is no undoing of love.
It just is.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, we covered quite a bit, I think, in this episode. So, it's a lot of things to think about, and as we're going through these times, and I call them interesting times. And if you find yourself feeling a little down, get outside, especially preferably with your bare feet, and feel the ground. As long as it, it's up to you. You can do it in the snow if you want, but just to feel the love of Mother Earth. She is going through some big changes. We had talked in previous episodes about her cracking. So we're seeing, a lot of that going on right now in some of the volcanic activity, and obviously the earthquakes that are happening. So, being man-made or natural, what we would call natural. That's Mother Earth belching, or whatever words you want to
And
use.
even if it's man-made, the result is natural because it's the reaction to what was caused. So
it's getting away from that old. I just remember getting the information that's it held the old matrix, or something along those lines, and that whole thing is cracking, and so it doesn't have anything to attach itself to, and then within us, we're leaving that energy behind as we realize who and what we are as beautiful beings of light.
yeah, I remember talking to somebody a number of years ago about the times that were coming, meaning the times that we're in right now, where there was going to be such a change, such a shift, that it was going to, there wasn't any grounding. It's like your feet are up in the air. They don't know where they're going next. And so you feel like you're kind of in limbo, and you're just hanging there, kind of floating around, and while everything is just kind of going haywire around you. That's how it feels. But the reality of it is that, like Bev said, there is a great pause, a calming down, and then the new takes over. So it's really, really something quite magnificent. So you think about how this whole thing was, how it was designed to come about, and it's following a pattern, and you can look at it in quite a mechanical way and see how it works. But to feel it on emotional levels, that's a whole different ball of wax. It's like I don't know about this. It gets a little tough, but hang in there. We're making it. We're doing it. We're doing our part, and keep your head held as high as you can, and your outlook as lifted up as you can. I'm just going to say this again. I talked about it last time about perhaps offering love in the form of a box that you place outside of somebody's door. And it's up to them whether they open the door and pick up the box or not. But just to project the thought of, I would love to give a gift of love to such and such a person, and just see yourself placing a box of love outside their door, and it's up to them what they do with it. So, but at least you won't be just sitting worrying about it, twiddling your thumbs, doing nothing. You know, you're doing something. So that's just one way to make a difference.
You're doing and sharing.
Mm-hmm.
That what you truly are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. No wonder you said the other day you're leaving boxes on people's doorsteps.
Yeah.
What is she talking about? Now I know.
Oh.
Yes. You didn't know I didn't know.
No.
So anyway, like whatever. Occasionally we'll do those whatevers. Whatever you need to do, you'll do. So
Sure you are.
we do have fun with all of this that's going on, and but we see in ourselves and we tease one another, and
Oh yeah,
it's all part of it.
relentlessly.
And yes, and yeah, you were rather feisty today, and so we had a lot of laughs, and
Yeah.
it just keeps us going. So it makes it fun. So
Yeah.
so have fun.
Yeah.
That's a really big thing. Have fun.
Yeah, and thank you, Nance.
Yeah, I think she may be watching. So yes, this is one of our friends. So we teased about that. So you said it. So thank you, Nancy. All right. Thank you all for being here today. And please do share and like and whatever. And you can send this along to whomever you feel that would benefit. So, we do this out of love, always use discernment, and everything that is said, because if you feel it, then it must mean something to you, and that's the energy we like to put out, and we feel that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But you do you, and
Well said.
yeah, and the rest is none of our business. But do support one another in the love that we have for one another.
Yeah.
So, any last words you have?
I was just going to reiterate that I truly do love each and every one of you, and I hope you can feel it, because I sure can. And I love all of our little furried and feathered beings out there too. So, and I know that they can feel that. So please hang in there and think good thoughts, not only about others, but about yourself, because you are beautiful.
You are very important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's why you're here. All right. Thank you. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, if you have any comments, do write them down. We do appreciate those. Share what you're feeling. Share what you're going through, because a lot of people are going through. A lot of them are going through a lot of shit, and so it's getting rid of that old programming, and it's another reason why we're going through a lot of things. Yeah, I know I've been saying that, but
Not that I was counting, but there were 3.
Yeah, well,
right.
But anyway,
Some days are just like that.
yeah, so it explains it all. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so interesting. I think we're going to have a couple weeks of really interesting things that are going to come out, and then it's up to you to do with what you want to do. I'm talking about government things and possibly some more earth change activities. So we'll see. But
If the earth is moving, get out of the way.
there you go. Yeah.
She's got to move, just like us. Well, to be stagnant, for me, I get claustrophobic, and it's like I start to bug out if I get stagnated. It just doesn't work. It's fighting against myself. We all have that built inside of us. We have to keep moving. We have to keep growing. If we're not growing, then we're dead. So, and we're not dead.
No, we're not. All right. Thank you all.
And thank you for your what do you call them?
Well, I'm not sure where you're going.
Responses that people leave.
Comments.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you for your comments. We do appreciate it.
We do. And again, do share, whatever's in your heart or whatever you're going through. It's, it brings up for other people to look at, like, yeah, I was feeling a little depressed the other day too, and blah, 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 blah. And then, was it the Schumann residence that just clicked off again? I don't know how to say it clicked off, but it went down to zero. Shut down. Thank you. And then all of a sudden it was back up again. And so you may have felt that shift. And so that's the electromagnetic pulses of the earth, correct? And so the earth definitely is going through huge shifts.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are being activated. I think we're going to find out more of our history that's coming up from so-called below, and beings that are starting to show themselves. Our galactic friends are off-world beings. It's happening, and it's happening now. A lot of people are seeing ships, or seeing things flying through the air that don't look like comets or asteroids. They look like ships. And or they're seeing them through their third eye, because it's all awakening within us. So sometimes you wonder if you're making things up. Yeah, I've asked myself that numerous times, and it's usually, no, you're not. So, like, yeah, just go with it, and you eventually take that into your being, and then you understand life, and it continues and continues evolving is the word that we use.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you get a hint that something is happening in the line of earth changes around you, and you're thinking, no big deal, they've been talking about that forever. Pay attention to the animals.
Yeah,
they won't lie to you. If they start leaving,
you might want to get out of the way, or
pay attention.
Do that. All right. Thank you. Blessings to you all. I love you all.
Love you.
All right. Good night.
Bye.